All right, guys. Welcome to Jerome and Real Estate. I'm Jerome, your local realtor here in the Fountain and Colorado Springs area. As you can see, I'm going to record a little bit differently today. I'm just going to use the cell phone. But I do want to go over some of June 2022 stats, the month that we just ended. And then I want to talk to you about some of the things nationally that are going on. One thing in particular, which is basically the housing affordability index, right? But first, what we'll do is we'll go over some of the statistics for El Paso County, Colorado, Colorado Springs, and Fountain, Colorado, right? So we'll go over those just really quick. Let me just spit out some numbers for you so you guys get a good picture of what's going on. So overall in El Paso County, um, the average sales price for June 2022 was $533,431, right? So the average sales price is actually still appreciating, slower than before, but it's still appreciating, right? The list price during that time frame was $559,131. Okay, so even though those two things don't really correlate because the sales price for June would probably be the listing prices that you saw in like Mayish or something like that. So the current listing prices that I just spouted out for June, they may not hit sales prices until like July, August, something like that, right? So, but once again, though, you still see that there's like a slight increase, right? It is coming down, though, that there is a definite change in that going down in overall in El Paso County. Now, let me give you the Colorado Springs data. Colorado Springs, the sales price average for June was 521,570, and the list price for June was 545,807. All right, so as you can see, we're basically just in the $500,000 range. Okay, and in Fountain, Fountain does normally have lower price. You get a little bit more bang for your buck down in Fountain. So the average sales price for June in Fountain was 427,143, and the average list price for Fountain was 420,949. Okay, so I think you kind of know where the lower prices are right now, and you kind of get a good feel for each, Fountain, Colorado Springs, and overall El Paso County. You got a good feel for that. Now, what I want to bring to everybody's attention is nationally what's going on. What's the feel? Well, it's the same feel that we have here in El Paso County, Colorado Springs, right? It's the same feel. We still feel that prices are rising, just slower than they normally would be. Um, and you definitely get higher mortgage rates. Everybody's feeling that. Inflation is taking a toll, okay? And what's happening is that housing affordability is getting really bad. It's actually the worst it's been for like 35 years, something like that. So, it is now time for people to really take look at their finances, look at what they can afford, and it's time to really drill down and figure out what you want to do. Do you want to be able to own an asset and have it continue to work for you pretty much, as long as you want it to? Or are you going to turn tail and run now? Okay. This is when things get hard. So in the stock market, um, this time frame is usually when you see something called capitulation, right? Capitulation, it basically just means when people get so fearful of the downtrend that they just, you know what, they decide cut their losses and run. Um, they can't hang in there long enough. They can't keep looking to make the upside, right? Because they've had enough of the downside and they're like, you know what, I'm done. I'm too fearful. I'm out, right? That's what that in layman's terms, that's capitulation, right? And that same type of feeling can happen in the housing market where buyers have been frustrated for so long because they were being outbid. And now it's possible that a good chunk of those buyers could feel the same way because mortgage rates are now increasing and the prices haven't started decreasing, right? So they're getting double whammy by the pricing and the mortgage rates. Inventory is still not where it should be, but fun fact, inventory is definitely up more. In El Paso County, we now have 1.6 months of inventory. So we're getting up there, we're getting back, and that's not from the builders ramping up or anything like that. That is just literally because homes are sitting on the market longer, there are more listings coming on the market, and the majority of buyers are now realizing that they cannot afford it. So, what is it that I really want to say? Definitely two things, right? So, one thing for sellers, if you do need to sell your property, you need to start early. You need to contact a good realtor that you trust, one that understands the underlying market volatility that's happening right now, and you need to prepare to sell that home because it's not going to be, oh, let me just list the property, it sells in one day, and everything is cool. That's not how this is going to work right now, right? Everything has shifted beneath you, everything, right? So if you're a seller, that's the advice that I have for you right now is prepare early. Get in contact with somebody who understands what's happening. Prepare for the long game, right? If you are a buyer, possible buyer, understand this. The majority of buyers that are out there right now have probably overshot, okay? They thought they could afford something, but then the rates started rising and now they realize, well, I can't. Or the lenders are telling them that. The lenders are like, oh, sorry, the rates went up. We can't give you the loan at this rate right now. Sorry, it's not going to work out. So you need to look for something in the lower price point. Which means that if you are a solid buyer with solid finances and everything is set, that puts you in the driver's seat, right? Because your competition has just fallen off a cliff, okay? And you know what's happening with the sellers. They now have to be a little bit on edge because they're not sure how fast they can actually sell their properties, okay? So that's the tip that I would have is that if you are a strong buyer, now's your time actually, right? Everybody else is in capitulation phase. Everybody else is turning tail to run. When that happens, and it doesn't matter which asset class you're talking about, when everyone else is extremely fearful, that is usually the time that you're going to be able to find something that they're running away from and you can scoop it up because you've got the resources to do it, okay? Every single individual is going to be different, so it can't be like every single buyer needs to do this. But here's the thing. If we're talking about real estate as a long-term investment, which this is the way I think of it, okay? People ask me all the time, hey, when's the right time to purchase property? Now. It's always now, right? It's always dependent on your particular finances. But if you've got it, if you're solid, if your finances are good, you're not in a whole bunch of debt, your debt to income ratio is good, it's always a good time to buy property because over time, and when I say over time, I mean the long haul, real estate is just tried and true. It's been proven over and over and over again. I'm not gonna say you can't go wrong, because somebody's gonna go out there and screw it up. But um, if you're not doing anything crazy, yes, real estate is the way to go. And if you've got the funds to purchase it, that would be the thing to do right now. Invest in it for the long term and watch your returns grow over time. Okay? So that's it for now. If you like these tidbits, if you like the statistics I'm putting out, um, I am focused more on the Colorado area, but as you can see, I'm not just worried about the Colorado area. I'm worried about finances in general. I like to throw out all this information so that anybody can have it and use it and put it on repeat, right? So please give this a like, please give it a subscribe, and tune in next time where I'll probably have another interview. All right.